Justin Timberlake, sad. He's in the Hamptons. It's a place I know and love. He's drunk. He gets pulled over. His tour wasn't selling. Can everyone leave him alone? Can we get the news vans out of Sag Harbor? People are trying to have, people work really, really hard. They have a lot of money and they don't care about this. And we need to get the press out of the Hamptons. This isn't, no offense, a low-income area where people are excited to see the news. In low-income areas, people like when the news comes in because it's fun. It is. Low-income areas, when the news van comes in, people get excited. The kids start clapping and everything. We don't need that out there. Get the news out. Rich people don't really like when the press shows up. It's never for a good reason. A few tables away, Stuart Levine, the former chef executive of Dale Carnegie and Associates, split $45 crab cakes with his wife, Harriet Levine. You won't be getting your Pulitzer Prize for this, he said to a reporter. Great. Stu, get him. Go get him, Stu. This is why you need Jews. The Jews will chase them off. You need them. It's true. It's true. The WASPs would just let it be overrun. The WASPs don't do confrontation, you know? They don't. That's why all the food in WASPy restaurants sucks, because they just don't even want to look the waiter in the eye. The WASP just want to be served. They want to drink things out of, pewter, mason, weird like George Washington type of cutlery, and these weird pewter cups and all that stuff, and mason jars. And they just want to eat in like a barn environment and then leave and not have once made eye contact with the waiter. The Jews, which is why they are big time needed, like my mother, who wasn't Jewish, but learned culturally from Jews how to complain. Complaining is essential. It keeps things good. You have to complain. Italians do it to a degree. Jews kind of do it the best. And my mother learned from a lot of Jews how to complain, and that's why the restaurants in Long Island are really good, or they go out of business. And that's why hopefully they get the press out of Sag Harbor. And Justin Timberlake, don't get in the car drunk. Don't get in the car drunk. You're rich. If you are rich and you get a DWI, you are so fucking lazy. Get a driver. Get a fucking driver, dude. After Justin Timberlake threw Janet Jackson under the bus, I never really had a ton of respect for him. I think he's haunted by that. I think he's haunted by that to a degree. You know? He looks like a haunted person there. Get him out. Get the news vans out of my town. I don't live in Sag Harbor. I live in Southampton, but still. Get him out. I don't want to deal with it. You will get in here. By the way, I wish I was there this week. I'm not. I'm in LA. But I wish I was there because I would give them an interview. Oh, I saw him. I was drinking with him. I was getting fucked up with him. Yeah, we were out drinking. I told him, I said, Justin, don't get in that car. And you know what he said to me? He goes, I don't respect the laws of this country. He goes, because there are no laws. He goes, you know how many people cross illegally over the southern border every day? I said, no, Justin, I don't. He goes, thousands, tens of thousands of people cross right into our country over the southern border every day. We don't know who they are, where they're coming from. I go, interesting. I go, so that's your rationale? He goes, yeah. I'm just one guy driving drunk. We've got hordes of people coming, armies. I go, interesting. They go, all right, cut the interview. I go, no, but I was drinking with him. This is what he said. By the way, talking about VIP, Mexican cartels offering VIP packages for migrants. I'm not against VIP migrants coming in. I think we have to soften our approach if we're talking about people that have paid money. I do respect people that pay for the experience. And there's a lot of migrants right now that are paying for a better experience. The tunnel is dark and narrow. Toxic gases rise from the dank water. Insects scurry along the sides. Rattlesnakes wait coiled. Rodents lurk along the water's edge, like Jeremy Allen White. Now, Yet this drainage network that reaches from Ciudad Juarez into El Paso, Texas, is one of the most sought-after routes for patrons of a VIP migration package offered by Mexican cartels to those with the money to pay for it. The tunnel route costs at least $6,000, according to interviews with top Mexican state authorities, federal law enforcement officials from both sides of the border, and migrants waiting to cross in encampments along the Rio Grande. Ricardo, a migrant smuggler, said he has charged as much as $15,000. Everything in this underground world functions by a code that cartels give their VIP customers, often delivered by cell phone, that identifies which cartel travel agency a migrant is working with, so everyone from local police to rival criminal syndicates knows not to harass them. Heightened U.S. security along the 2,000-mile border with Mexico and fewer legal pathways to come north have been an economic boon for Mexican criminal organizations. Instead of fixing a broken immigration system, the U.S. government is outsourcing migration policy to criminal groups, some experts say, increasing practices of corruption. The migrant, says Blanca Navarrete, director of the migrant advocacy nonprofit, is the one to pay the price for that lack of action. A joint investigation by Mexican and U.S. authorities have discovered that one Juarez-based cartel has been smuggling at least 1,000 migrants through tunnels into El Paso every month. They're switching from drug trafficking to human trafficking. I feel better about the migrants who have come in through this kind of VIP process. To be honest, I do. If you have enough money to pay for a luxury smuggling operation, I feel slightly better overall about your chances to assimilate into America. You're doing a very American thing, and I kind of like it. You're paying criminals to make your life easier. This is what I do every time I hire a realtor or a lawyer. So the idea that they've already kind of embraced this idea that you got to pay to play, I don't hate that. I don't. 60 to 70% of the focus of these cartels now is migrant smuggling. A kilo of cocaine might bring in $1,500, but that risk is very high. The cost benefit of trafficking a person is $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. So this is a booming business for the cartels. The cartels are really figuring out. And you think of it, is it like the United Polaris or the Delta One or the JetBlue Mint? What are you getting? What are you getting? What do you get? And we should have migrants on here if they would come on, and we'd even black out their faces to just compare the different smuggling experiences. What are the different cartels doing to compete with each other to win the business of migrants? Are there different tunnels? Do you think a cartel tries to get the rats and snakes out of one of the tunnels? And you think when people talk to each other, they go, that's tunnels, there's no snakes. That's why we use them. There's actually no snakes and no rodents. They get all the rodents and the snakes out of that tunnel. That's why it's nice. They give you a breakfast. Do you think anybody gets a breakfast once they get to El Paso? I don't understand, but I'm sure that there are different ways that these different VIP cartels are using, the little bonus perks they give people. I'm wondering exactly what they are. And that would be, and we'd probably only know if we spoke to actual migrants who I imagine don't speak English, but I feel better about it. Can we make an immigration policy that we only allow cartel smuggled VIPs in? And is that okay? Or will people get up in arms about that? Because they've proven they got 12, 15 grand. So right away, I know you're not destitute. You got 12, 15. You got 12 or 15 grand, and you're willing to pay for it so your family has a better experience. It's a Disney Fast Pass. You don't wait on the lines. I'm all for it. It makes me feel better. Because the panic about immigration is you bring in a bunch of people, And it's just, they don't have the means to support themselves. Somebody coming in with 12 to 15 thou, giving it to the cartel doing what they need to do to get them across safely. That to me makes me feel better about this whole thing.